Welcome back to the Puck Bunker. I'm Rocco Zappia, joined as always by my co-host, the man who always makes sure to finish first, Darren Boyce. And speaking of finishing first, we're going to have an all-finish episode today featuring two guys who we have spoken a little bit about in our Hlinka recap episode with Brock Otten, which if you haven't watched, you should. That was a really good one. That would be Oliver Suvanto and Oscar Hemming. I started off, we did last episode with the Swedes, did Stenberg and Bjork by request. This time we requested it because there will be no Finnish slander, much like the Quebec League. We defend the Q and the Finns on this show. So, Darren, who do you want to start with?
Well, first of all, let's just point out here, the Swedes are let's just say the Swedish guys that we just reviewed here on our last episode seem to be the more highly touted in the community at this point. I think both of these Finnish players that we're going to talk about here have something to say about that. That might be aggressive. I've talked about it on Twitter already, and being called aggressive for that, by the way. But listen, these two guys we're going to talk about today have a lot of talent. They're big and they are physical presences. So I am very excited about this episode.
So am I, because Hemming is not like his brother. I'll say that. No. He's not like his brother at all. And Suvanto, I had never even fucking heard of this guy before the tournament. Literally, no one was talking about him. I mean, I'm sure someone was. I didn't look at everywhere on the internet, but he wasn't a big name coming into the tournament, and he's sure as shit was one leaving the tournament, right? I'm not sure anyone else, and again, we talked about this with Brock. I'm not sure anyone else made more of an impact on their draft stock than this kid did. Okay, let's start with him. I'll start with him. Does that work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's exciting, and a player with a lot of similar traits caught my eye pretty early in the season last year too, and his name was Bill Zonin. And why did I like him? Big, physical, hardworking, responsible, detailed, underrated playmaker. Good hockey IQ in pretty much every situation. Works hard, hits things, and ticking off a lot of those same boxes here with this guy. And I don't want to make a direct comparison because I honestly, haven't watched Suvanto enough to know how direct that comparison is. But my point being, he does a lot of the same things that got me excited about Billy Z last year, and he stood out immediately, like much in the same way that Zonin did. You don't have to look for this guy on the ice. He makes his presence known. And halfway through the first period against Canada at the Hlinka, I'm looking this guy up. I'm like, okay, we got a player here. Causing havoc. Havoc is a organized chaos, this guy. Against some pretty highly touted Canadian defenders. He gave each of them trouble. Really, really hard to handle. Hammers everything behind the net. He's excellent forechecker. Retrieves the puck great. Uses his teammates well. He actually has, I think, some pretty sneaky playmaking ability. I saw him make some pretty cheeky plays with the puck, and not in a bad way, but some really good vision offensively. So I think this is maybe a guy. I don't know if he has the most individual skill in the whole world, but I think it's a guy who can fit in with guys who have high-end individual skill. And Finland has a long history of producing some extremely effective two-way centermen, and I think this is another guy on the list. And I'm not going to say this is a Barkov or even a Lundell for that matter, but very, very, very solid two-way player. He's a guy with I don't know if there's really a red flag in his game. I'm not sure how high end the offensive upside is. I think this may be more of a middle six kind of lunch pail reliable, but again, I did see flashes of some pretty nice playmaking there. So maybe the offense continues to develop, because this is not a guy that, and I'm sure he was known inside Finland and inside kind of Finnish circles, but this is not a guy that came into that tournament with a ton of hype. So could be a guy where the offensive continues to emerge, and I'm underrating his offensive ability right now. I'm not sure we're looking at a guy who's as high end offensively as a Stenberg or certainly a Preston or a guy like that, but he's probably the hardest guy to play against of that group. And I think that whenever he's on the ice, he's making an impact, regardless if that's in the offensive zone or not. That line that they played with him, Hemming, and Vanatalo were just unbelievable. And I don't know that any line in that tournament would have fit better on the Florida Panthers than those three guys. And it's a cliche getting pucks in deep, but they're getting pucks in deep, down low, below the goal line. They were smashing guys who tried to get it, and then they were taking it back and they were creating offense from it. And they cycled the puck excellent. They played such a heavy pro game with a lot of skill to go with it, that it was hard not to notice them and even cheer for them in the games that they weren't against Canada. I found myself, you try to be impartial when you're scouting a tournament, but ultimately we're hockey fans, and when I'm a big underdog guy, so when you see the underdogs doing well, you gotta get behind them. But as far as Suvanto goes, everything is pretty much above average. Like, I don't have an issue with his skating, his shots fine. Everything kind of grades out as plus across the board. It's the effort level and the work rate and the physical play that are the elite tools for me with this guy. And we talked about it last episode. NHL coaches and GMs are looking for guys who excel in a certain area, so you can kind of project a role for them. I see this guy projecting as a pretty excellent 3 at this point. Plays that type of game, and maybe you have some 2, and maybe there's more potential. Again, it's fucking August. Our reads on these guys are early, and they will evolve, and a lot of them will change too. So it's very early in the draft cycle, and at this point we've seen the guy 4 or 5 times, so enough to talk about, but not enough that the opinions are or should be set in stone. But I can't find a thing that I really dislike about him where I'm like, this is going to keep you out of the league. I could see maybe some questions about how elite the high end offense is, but again, he put up decent numbers last year. I think he was 41 points in that, but he was playing in the under 18 Finnish league. As much as there's no Finnish slander here, it's not the strongest league that we're going to be scouting this season. So you take those high end point totals with a grain of salt. He's going to play in the under 20 this year, see if it can translate and hopefully improve and take a step. But this would be a very high floor guy for me, and a high floor guy that you'd want to have when kind of push comes to shove. I think when the nitty gritty comes in the springtime and the games get harder and longer and tougher to be in, this is the kind of guy that will excel in those situations, just based on the high end traits that he has with the size and the physicality and the willingness to battle and to win pucks and to set guys up and to crush the net. His net drive is fantastic. Really, really good net drive. I didn't talk about his skating. I actually think he's quite a good skater who's able to gain some separation on guys. There was a couple instances in the games that I watched that he had fantastic middle lane drive where he actually just completely blew by the D and once resulted in a goal, another time a pretty high end chance on a tip play there. But very smart player in how he uses his skating. Again, I've started mentioning this pretty often. His skating routes are very, very effective, and he knows when to turn the jets on and he knows when to try to kind of slow things down and kind of muck it up and get pucks down low and be a little more physical. So there's some versatility there. So which is why I keep saying I think there's a chance the offense maybe pops a little bit this year, more so than maybe his numbers in the past may suggest. Not that they're bad, but we're not talking a guy like Viggo Bjork where he's destroying leagues for 2.5 points a game sort of thing. So I don't have a bad thing to say about this guy. I found it very hard to find criticisms based on the games that I've seen of him. Highly effective versus Canadians, highly effective versus the Swedes. Aside from, I mean, he was one of Finland's top 3 players at the Holinka, certainly, and the guy that caught my eye the most that I didn't know about really coming into the tournament. So Oliver Suvanto, I'm an early fan of this guy, and I know Darren is too. So I'll let you chime in. I'm sure there's something that I missed there, but
Nothing that you missed, but a couple things to mention here. Definitely a centerman.
yes,
He's good on
no
draw.
doubt.
Like he's a good centerman. So this is enticing to me because there's not a lot of center depth in this draft. This guy looks, as you said, like a very safe center projection here at this size. The fact that he can skate and plays a two-way game tells me he can play pro. Like you could see here, he can play lower in a lineup, probably quite effective. Like you already see that here, right?
Yeah.
Other thing, one of the youngest guys in the draft.
Yes. Yeah. I tweeted that out when I was watching. I was like, oh my God, this kid's like, he's fucking young.
He's born in September. So that's the other thing. He is a lot younger than, almost a full year younger than some of these other guys we're talking about here. Like a Stenberg, I believe, is in, again, he's almost a full year younger than him.
September 30th, I think, is Stenberg.
Yeah. So those are two things to keep in mind with this player as this year goes on. Again, let's just go through some of the things I like. The physicality I found was great. And it was kind of relentless. Like he caused a ton of problems on the forecheck, and he was hard to play against. And you mentioned it, they're playing Canada, and Canada has a bunch of supposed top 10, top 20, defensive prospects. They struggled against them. They legitimately struggled against them. They couldn't handle them. The physicality and relentless kind of forecheck was too much for them. They struggled against that line. Canada won that game. I thought Finland could have won that game if they got some goaltending, to be honest. But nonetheless, he was quite noticeable out there.
That line dominated Canada.
They did, yeah. And there's supposedly a bunch of first round D playing for Canada. It's noteworthy that line was dominating them. And again, this guy isn't somebody we have, Oliver Suvanto is not someone we have heard be bandied about as kind of a first round talent.
Well, we're gonna bandy him now.
Couple other things here. Battles in front of the net. I mean, he is throwing cross checks at guys. He is being an absolute scumbag in front of the net. All over the ice with these guys. This guy is a complete piece of shit to play against, and he's huge. So, I'll draft this guy. Absolutely. Yeah, he can be on my team. And I haven't even gotten into anything else yet. This guy's big, he's physical, and he's a piece of shit to play against. So we're I'm in. This is the team I want. He can skate. He's fast. And one thing I kind of wanted to point out, again, I did this before, but a guy like Jack Nesbitt last year went 11th.
12.
Or was it 12? Sorry, he went 12. My bad. 12.
Well,
whatever. Yeah. He went there.
Or 11. Maybe it was 11. I don't know.
Again, and he went there because he is a big, NHL projectable centerman, right? These are what teams are looking for. In my mind, as of right now, if we started last year at the same time, this is a better player than Jack Nesbitt was at this time last year.
Yes.
Not saying at the end of the year, but at this time.
Okay. Nesbitt had a massive second half.
He did. And again, that's what I'm saying. At this point, this is a better projection. And again, that type, again, that big centerman usually goes higher than a lot of people think. So I'm just,
we think.
And he can skate. He doesn't have a flaw. Like, he doesn't have something that, like, again, you pointed this out. He doesn't really have a flaw. Like, I agree. He doesn't really have anything that'll keep him out of the league.
No.
Like, it's, again, I actually think, again, he's, I think he could improve kind of his agility a bit. He's good at, like, he's good starting going forwards. When he's going side to side or backwards, it's a little bit of a struggle. He needs to work on that. But I mean, it's not bad. I didn't really have evidence that he has a great shot or anything, but he goes to the net and he scores in greasy areas. So, I mean, that works. Like, that translates. And he's big. So, like, he's going to be able to go there and pro. I don't see any problem with him doing that. And he's also, again, as I said, a piece of shit. Like, so he's fine to go to the front. Like, D are going to go into his area. He's not going into the, defenseman's area. They're going to have to deal with him. And I think that is what entices me so much about him. Again, puck skills I thought were good. He does have some make-miss ability. He has some big man hands too. Again, he doesn't look like he's doing a whole lot. Like, again, it's kind of slow and meticulous, but again, it's effective. He can get around guys. He can kind of create some space for himself with the big man hands, wins draws. He has a, pretty hard stick where he can, it's tough to get a puck off of him because he is strong on his stick. I mean, the only thing I think too, like, he can get like in better shape and stronger because he tired as shifts went. Basically, that was my biggest flaw. He got tired as shifts went on. Well, he's seven. He's not like he's literally not even 17 yet. So, like, sure. So I love this player. I think this guy is a very he very much interests me because I want to see what the growth is as the year goes on. Because it's very obvious he's definitely gotten better over the summer. I think that's probably the conclusion I'm coming to here, is that he wasn't on anyone's radar because he's really improved. So let's see what the offensive game ends up looking like. Because again, just the tools themselves for, a guy who can play center and has speed and he's big and he's physical. This is a first round pick. He's going to be a first rounder with those tools. It's if he's going to be like, is this guy a top 10 pick or is this a guy you're thinking later in the first round?
Well, I think that's like this thing, right? You're going to need to evaluate. And that's why I said, like, the offensive upside is kind of the unknown here because you want to see how it progresses over the full season. And he was a point a game last year. It's not like there's no offensive pedigree, but again, you just need to see it come along because with the tools that he has, you need to see what type of offense he produces, because you don't want to just see it where he's getting the points because he's bigger than guys at the junior level. So
yeah,
that's kind of the thing to monitor with him, and how high he goes. I think will be determined largely based on how a team feels he can progress offensively and what kind of impact he can make, right? Are we looking at an Anton Lundell or Mikko Koivu, or are we looking maybe at a guy who's a little lower in the lineup than that? So
here's the thing though. Last year, again, there was a decent amount of center depth in the draft last year, right? There was no one that fit this toolkit really. Like, there wasn't the guy that, because most of the bigger guys didn't have size.
Zonin.
No, but he was, I guess. But again, sorry, most of the bigger guys didn't have the speed this guy has. Like, this guy's he's fast.
Yeah, fair.
Like, all the bigger guys, like the bigger centermen kind of were slower skaters, or, I'll even add guys that were kind of second rounders like Guard and like Papanakis, right? Like, they're the big guys, but they had skating issues. Like, Nesbitt went high, like, has skating issues. The other centermen were smaller. Like, that was the issue they had, is they were just smaller guys. Like, I just, again, if I'm just, he'd have to really fall off for me not to see him as a first rounder. Like there have to be like he can't score points at that level. And
Well, that's
like
yes.
like that's kind of what I'm seeing here, because and even that, like I just can't see that happening, because he's just going to go to areas where he's going to get points.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about it. Like I think this guy's in for a very good year, and I think wherever he starts on most people's draft boards, I like him as a candidate to move up rather than down.
His Holinka was awesome.
His Holinka was fantastic.
Like he was awesome.
Yeah.
And if Canada had him, maybe we would have beat the Americans. But
Well, we didn't.
Well, we did.
We didn't, and they.
It is noteworthy
team.
it is noteworthy how Finland plays a much tougher game than Canada does now. They play like how Canada used to play.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying to watch.
So
it's fucking annoying because we play like fucking soft as puppy shit now. And you used to be scared. You used to be scared when you had to play Canada, because whether you win or lose, you're going to get your fucking teeth knocked in, and there's no fear anymore. There's no fear playing against them.
Do you here? I'm going to ask. I'm going to ask this.
Soft talk.
Do you think Finland will take that line to the World Juniors?
They're a little young.
They are young, but they are men. Maybe. They're not normal young guys.
The Finns World Junior group, if I have the years right, I don't think it's going to be super strong. Maybe you need them. Maybe you take them. Maybe you do.
They literally have a line of 6'3" guys who are like 210. Like they don't have to be their first line.
No, they could be their fourth line, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. They can. You got to think they consider it.
You have to consider it.
Too big to play for Canada, but
oh yeah, then they'll never be on that team. Well, actually, it's Dale Hunter's the coach this year. Thank God.
We have a chance at least now.
We have a chance to win now, so that's good. Anyway,
we're off track.
That's all right. I just it's comments about Team Canada selection, which I'm sure we're going to have an episode on that. I probably won't be ranting as much this year as I did last year, but we will probably rant about Bill Zonin not being invited to camp.
That was fucking insane.
I could see that one happening.
Crazy.
But I will call it now, and I will defend it to everyone that Sam O'Reilly will be on that team and will be an important player on that team. Everyone can kick rocks that says he shouldn't be on that team. He should be. He's the best two-way center in the OHL, so fine. Whatever. Anyway, let's move on.
Can we go one episode without talking about the London fucking Knights?
Well, they played their first exhibition game tonight. They beat Sarnia.
Oh, what a surprise. Here we go again.
Well, just okay. Well, before we move on to another guy, draft eligible, Logan Howery had 2 goals. So keep an eye on him. He was on Brock Otten's OHL draft eligible list. So just an FYI, got to keep an eye on. Going to have a big year. Anyway.
Darren's calling it now. He's got
it now. He's going to get the ice time. He literally they were too good last year. They just didn't use them.
Do you have anything more on Suvanto, or do we pretty much agree? we agree on this one, I think.
I just don't know. Like other than him not being able to get any points in the U20 league, like I just don't know what keeps him out of the first round at like worst. Like even if he has like under a point per game, I still see this guy being like a late first, just literally because he's a 6'3" center who can skate and he's physical. Like he's going to play. Yeah. So, and then if his offense pops, like then we're talking about something completely different here.
Well, then you're talking about a top 10 pick.
Go higher.
5?
Yeah. Dude, if he has a big year offensively.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no centerman. Like Robeck doesn't play center. Like Belchis is a winger. Like who are we competing with as a centerman here? They're going to take the big center over the winger. So
Lawrence, I guess.
who had a better tournament?
Suvanto.
That tournament just went terribly for Canada, but whatever. Common for us these days. Anyway, let's move on. We went off topic here
anymore. Oh my God, Darren, we can't even win the Holinka anymore. What is going on?
Well,
okay, Suvanto, we love him a lot. So I think I like him as a first rounder.
Move him up your boards, and we're going to monitor him all year and move him up. Okay. Now, I am going to talk about the other Finnish player on that line who, well, we're going to miss one of them, which is too bad. There's other Finns we should actually look at. There's a lot of good Finns actually this year.
Bounce back year for Finland.
Yeah, really good year for them. Oscar Hemming, who now plays for the Kitchener Rangers. So I'm very excited about that. I'm going to be able to go see him. But last year he played. So he played for, oh God, my Kiko Espo U18. He played 31 games and had 63 points, had over 2 points per game, played U20, had 10 points in 18 games. Again, I will point out he is born in August of 2008. So this is another very, very young player for this draft. Both these Finnish guys are young. I'm just going to state his size here now, just for everyone, so they get why I'm so excited. 6'4", 190 pounds. He just turned 17. I am already ecstatic about what I've seen with this guy. Again, another guy, when you watched him play in the Holinka, very noticeable how every team's defense struggled with him, including Canada, who has a bunch of so again, supposed to be top-end draft eligible D. I'm going to go to his number one trait here, and he has some really good traits, but his number one trait is physicality. He hammers guys, like absolutely hammers them and scares guys. The one check game, like the D were actually turning away from him as he was coming in on the forecheck. He's not running out of position to hit guys. He's just physically dominating these guys. Like, this is a legitimate power forward. And like, again, I'm not saying he's like as reckless as, say, a Brady, but there's Brady type stuff in him. Like, he's winning battles on the boards. He's just taking pucks from guys. He's mean. We haven't really seen a guy like this in a while. A lot of people label guys power forwards these days that aren't power forwards. Like, this guy's a power forward. He's very unique that way. That excites me. My only worry is him playing the OHL. He's just going to hit guys too hard and they're going to suspend him. Which, like, yeah, like I'm worried. I am worried about that. Like, he's going to hurt guys.
Well, you get 10 games.
You get 10 games for hitting.
I don't want to go down that fucking rabbit hole at the OHL. But you're correct. He's going to play too hard for their liking, and they're going to give him a slap on the pee-pee. So
probably. I thought his skating, again, it's not elite, but again, he's 6'4". It's good. And because he's 6'4", like it's probably better than that. So, I mean, again, I don't see any problem in terms of his skating. And we talked about this last year. A lot of the bigger guys had some trouble with skating last year. No skating issue here. He definitely has pro level speed. That's for sure. I do think he actually has some room to fill out. I do think he just lacks a little bit of strength and maybe a bit of burst on his, his edges and his kind of agility that way. I do think that there maybe is another step there just in strength. And, once he gets to about 210, I think that'll probably be pretty good considering he is already a pretty good, forward skater. I think that's fine. The other top end trait he has, great shot. He can really shoot the puck. And now he doesn't really take one-timers though. His shot is like straight wrister. Loves a good hard wrister from the slot. And he beats goalies cleanly. knows how to shoot low blocker. Like he's beaten guys there consistently. He can also score around the net. Like he has that ability too. There's some diversity in his goal scoring ability here. I do like that. Has a good toe drag, can kind of manipulate the goaltenders that way and change the angle. Good that way as well. Everything else, I mean, I really liked his offensive game as well. Not just a shoot first guy, like some classic guys who just shoot, all the time. Has an ability to move the puck on the power play, can make a good pass, can utilize his, threat first shot to create an advantage elsewhere. He will notice it and do it. I think his playmaking is actually kind of underrated. I think what I put actually, here's a good way to put it. I don't think he would be the guy, for instance, to run a power play in the NHL. I think you're looking for him to be the shooter. However, if your main playmaker on a power play or a specific play is struggling, you could get the puck to him and he can make a play. Like he will make a good play. Or he could be honest, like he could be out there and be the primary playmaker and be pretty good. I think there'll be better guys, but I think he could still do it. So there's high offensive talent here, in my opinion. Don't think he's bad as a defender. He's engaged. And again, he's physical and he wins a ton of puck battles just from his physicality. So that right there, we're going to be fine defensively. I mean, he could be in better positions at times. We can work on that, but I think he's in pretty good spots. I don't think he cheats that often. So we're good there. I mean, I don't have anything really else bad to say here. The effort was good. Maybe it could have been a little, maybe there are a few more opportunities for him to throw hits. I don't know. I expect this guy to have a huge year in the OHL. I really do. He's going to be, he's physically going to be bigger than everyone else. Like he is going to dominate these guys.
Well, that's it. I don't know how most guys in the O would stop him. And you mentioned his skating. I find like he's a guy that when he gets his legs going, he can actually really pick up a head of steam. And he gets like a runaway freight train, like he's coming downhill at you. Like, I don't know. You don't want to get in his way when he's skating full speed, because I think it hurts when he hits you. And I think it hurts when he forechecks, and they complement each other well on a line, those two, Suvanto and Hemming. The Bash brothers, almost like they were a ton of fun to watch. And you're right, like there's not, guys get miscast as power forwards. This guy is a throwback.
He is a legitimate power forward.
A legit power forward in a world where they're dying, a dying breed. So you love to see that, and I think he's going to score a pile of goals this year.
Well, he's on a good team. Like Kitchener could legitimately win the OHL.
And someone could beat London.
Yeah, they're better than London this year. The OHL has just a tangent here. The OHL actually is kind of, there's 3 or 4 teams here that are pretty good that can, have a chance to win the league this year, which is nice to see. But yeah, I mean, look, if we're looking at like, want to nitpick here, he has some turnover issues at times, like at his own blue line. Like he just needs to work that out of his game. But in terms, like, again, I think he was 16 as that tournament was going on anyway. I mean, that's what I'm talking about here again. So there's
going to be things. There's going to be things.
But like we talked about this before, like there was nobody, again, we've seen last year, and there's really no one I've seen this year. And we've watched some bigger guys that have this physical package to go with it, with an offensive game. And he's not a one-trick pony offensively. Like he's not just a guy who's just going to shoot the puck. Like he can do other things.
Well, like you said, he can make he might not, like he's not a Cole Reshny with the playmaking, but he can make a play.
Yeah. Like I would trust him out there to make a play for me. Like, is Cole Reshny going to make a better play? Maybe, like probably, but he can still make one and he'll make stuff happen. I love this guy. Like again, I think this is the type of player you want in the playoffs. This is what teams are. This is what everyone wanted Porter Martone to be. Like, this is what they wanted him to be.
Yeah.
Is because he got labeled as this physical guy, and that's not
I don't
really
think
what
this
he
guy has
was.
those not sure this guy has his hands.
No, this guy shoots the puck a lot better. Like, he does more. I think he does more better. He's a way better skater.
You like him better than Martone?
I do. Yeah.
It was 6 overall.
Mm-hmm. Weaker draft, I would say, or at least at the top anyway.
So you like him better than Martone?
If we were starting the year last year, yeah, I do. But that's because Martone has a flaw that I'm really worried about. I don't really see the flaw here, at least at this point. What I'm like, again, I haven't identified the major flaw yet. That was always kind of my issue with Martone, is there's that one glaring thing that could keep him out of the league.
It won't.
It won't. I don't think it will either. That's why we ranked him 4th. But like, that's, you tell me. Like, you've seen Brady Tkachuk play hockey for however many years. Like, he can do that. Maybe not as a center, but he can definitely be like a very, very effective winger.
Brady's not a center anyways.
No, true. But still, this guy can be a very, very effective winger. It's just because he's Finnish. So, like, again, we don't really perceive the European guys as big physical guys anymore. Like, that's not really the perception of a lot of these guys.
The Finns are, though.
They are. Like, if this guy was from like Flin Flon or something, like, we would love this guy.
Flin Flon.
Yeah. What's another? Name another Canadian city where
Flin Flon. That's the example we're giving. No offense to all of our listeners in Flin Flon, but
well, yeah, tough guys come from Flin Flon.
Say fucking Calgary, dude, or something. Kelowna. I don't know. Somewhere people have maybe heard of.
A lot of people have heard of Flin Flon. I think Bobby
Flin Flon sounds like it's
Bobby
in
Clark's from Flin Flon.
Flin Flon sounds like it's in Finland. Well, you're from Flin Flon.
So Finland. You tell me, what have you seen from, like, what have you seen from him? Like, is there a glaring flaw here that I'm missing?
Glaring? No,
like, because I don't see.
No, this is an NHL player.
Yeah. Like, and I think it's definitely a guy who, at the very worst here, is a 20 to 25 goal scorer who can play up and down the wing and be completely hard, like very hard to play against. That's the absolute worst here.
I don't disagree. I think this was one of the most impressive lines at the whole tournament in terms of projectability. Very much like Suvanto, I have a hard time identifying the red flag, right? And you said maybe you like the defensive play to round out, and maybe you'd like a little bit more consistency. But again, that's such a typical thing. It's such a typical thing to say. It's like when you don't really have anything bad to say about a guy this age, that's kind of what the default scouting criticism is, because every guy has to work on defensive play and consistency at that age. But unless there are issues, which I don't think there are issues per se, like, I don't know, what's keeping him out of the league? Nothing.
I just, yeah. Injury, I guess. Like, I don't really see how he doesn't make the league with the toolkit that he has, and he has ability. Like, there isn't anything wrong here. And he has a unique skill. He has that high-end skill. I think the physicality is a top-end skill that a lot of players in the NHL don't have. Well, I think he's going to bring a different dynamic than 99% of the league.
His shot's very high-end too.
But that's what I mean. That's not even his best skill. So, we have multiple high-end skills now. Like, look, we talked about this, I think, with Grant. I think we talked about this with some other guys. In the playoffs, every team is begging for 6'3", 6'4" just big wingers,
heavy guys,
heavy wingers who can score around the net and can make a play and can play along the boards and then can find room out front, can find room around the net. Like they're begging for these guys.
Score a dirty goal when it matters.
Yeah. They can, like, he's that guy. He can do that. And I'll even point to it last year. Like, again, like Grant had Prokhorov 12th because he was a big winger who was big and physical, could skate. And this guy's a far better player than him.
Yeah.
So, like, again, I know he went like in the early 40s, but I mean, again, that's still like, if you think about that, again, there were some big flaws there with this player or with that player. Sorry. This guy has that big, hard, heavy game, that big, fast game with an offensive toolkit.
Without the issues.
So I'm struggling to kind of see how that isn't of interest to a lot of teams higher in the draft. It might now, again, if there's some D there they like, I understand those picks. If there's some, some centers jump up here. Again, we've already talked about Suvanto. I mean, we've talked about some other guys that had potential to jump up in the draft because there's not a lot of center depth. But I mean, if we're talking, like, here's a valid question. Like, we have Stenberg versus Hemming. Like, who's a team taking?
Today, right? Probably Stenberg, but I see where you're getting at, and I've got time for that conversation.
It's not a conversation we need to have yet, but it's just like, it's the idea of the player, right? Like, if this is translating, like he has another good year, maybe he makes the World Junior team, as we said. Maybe they bring that whole line, as maybe they should, because Canada will probably have a small lineup again and can't play against them, but nonetheless.
How did Washington get Protas in the third round?
He had some skating issues. But then he, like, again, well, but he did. Like, that's why.
Now you got a 30-goal massive winger.
Yeah. But then he worked out, like, then he improved. Like, guys improve. Just, that's why you work on, like, that. Oh, that's why you project guys.
So how would you have the two Finns right now? Like, who are you taking between Suvanto and Hemming?
Right now, I'm taking Hemming. Like, I need to see more from Suvanto. I don't have the track record that Hemming has. They're both about the same age.
I will see higher. Go ahead. Sorry.
I will say this, though. The lack of center depth is the thing that we need to keep an eye on for this draft, because we even said it in the Holinka preview. There's going to be a center or two that jump up way higher than everyone thought in August or before that tournament started. And Suvanto could be that guy. Like, it's very possible he is that guy. But that's the only thing I would say there. Right now, though, I think Hemming is just like, I think he is a top prospect here because he's unique.
I think there's more. I mentioned maybe a wait and see approach for Suvanto's offensive upside in terms of how I feel about it.
We need to see it.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's plenty of obvious offensive upside here with that shooting ability, right? So
yeah,
that's a very obviously, if you can have effective trigger man in that sort of body where he's willing to play a physical game, that's obviously going to be appealing to a lot of teams. And I agree with you. You have more track record there. You have maybe a more projectable offensive toolkit, but equally you do need to pay attention because centers, much like right-hand defensemen, usually go higher than people think maybe they should. So you keep an eye on Suvanto, and if he tears up that league this year, we're having a different conversation, right?
Exactly. Like, his is a kind of more wait and see. Like, I do think Hemming right now should be a top 10 pick. Like, I think he should be ranked there, in my opinion. I think he's good enough to be in that ranking, as I just compared him to Stenberg. I think that, again, we don't have to have that conversation. I don't think it's unrealistic to have it, but it's literally because of the toolkit. He's unique.
Yeah.
Like there's no one here that plays like this.
Well, he's willing to use his
Mhm.
willing to use his body physically, like, and play like a power forward.
Yeah. Like again, and I like a prospect like, Robrecht, like I like him, like Belchitz, like I like him. They're big guys. They don't have the toolkit that he has, like that.
I might want to
They
back that one
don't,
up.
man. They don't play as physical as him. They don't. And this guy's a better skater than both of them.
Rubrick's got a pretty high end offensive toolkit, Darren.
He does, but again, he doesn't play as fit. He's unique though. He doesn't. They're not the same. Like he's very physical and he's fast. Like he has good speed. They don't have the wheels that he has. Robert has really high end playmaking, like that. Like Hemming doesn't have. Hemming shoots the puck better. So
Rubrick can shoot the puck pretty damn good too.
this guy shoots the puck really, really well. The point I'm making though is that he's like, I don't know what other guy has the physical tool, like the physicality with the speed and the shot. Like they don't have that that 3 skill ability isn't there. It's a different prospect. So if like look, they don't have a first round pick. We can talk about whatever. It's the Ottawa Senators. The Ottawa Senators would love this player.
Yes.
Right? Like this is what they would be looking for. That big guy who's like hammers guys, has ability to score, and he's fast. This is a perfect pick for them. We don't have a first though, whatever. But
no, we don't. He would be a perfect guy. I do agree with that. Safe to say we're big fans of both these guys. Now, we talked about the Swedes last episode. Who would you take? Take the 2 Swedes or the 2 Finns?
Do you want my answer? Like the real answer is the Finns.
Yeah, me too.
I like big guys, so I'll whatever.
Me too.
I'll get criticized for that. But
would you take Stenberg first of the group?
I guess, yeah. Like they're the highest potential point getters, Stenberg.
I agree with that.
I don't know if the most effective playoff player is Stenberg.
That's up to him.
It is, but that's kind of like what I'm thinking, right? Like
he has the most talent.
He does have the most talent, but he doesn't have the most physical. He doesn't have the best physical tools. The Finnish guys have the best physical tools.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong there.
Like these are like they have.
Hemming's got a 30 goal scorer shot.
Yeah. With like and again, I don't think he's a one-trick pony with a shot. Like he can create. Like he can create for others. He's not just, I don't want to hammer him, but he's not just Patrick Laine standing over there waiting for a one-timer. Like he's gonna do some other stuff for you. And again, there's room for guys in the league who are just literally shot guys.
Well, yeah, if you're going to be good at one thing, scoring goals is a pretty good trait to have.
Yeah. So I expect him to have a really good year in Kitchener, if he doesn't get hurt. But I mean, I think
he can score 40.
The only thing I'm worried about is that, again, they have some
depth.
They have some depth there, so I don't know how much but like he could score 30 pretty easily, I think. But like I just don't know what the ice time allotment's going to be like there. They're good. Like they're a really good team.
He should be able to blow his shots by goalies in that league.
Yeah. Except for Medvedev.
Yeah, because he plays for London. Is he good because he plays for London, or does he play for London because he's good?
Medvedev?
Yeah.
It's a valid question.
Anyone, really.
For goalies, well, I think he is a good prospect. He just wasn't, again, he wasn't one of my top 5 goalie prospects, though.
No, you talked about him, though. He was right there.
Yeah, he's around there. I mean, there's potential there. Good size. Like, he has really good hands. So that means he tracks the puck well. He just didn't, again, it's hard. Like, their defense is really good, and he didn't play a whole lot at the end of the year. But, like, he
Well,
performed.
the other guy was on such a fucking heater. How could he?
The other guy lost like one game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's solid though. I mean, again, you can see why like Vancouver took him, and I understand why they picked him. I have no problem with that pick. There's definitely potential. There's potential there. That guy, again, it's what the goalie coach likes, right? He has some skills that a goalie coach will like, and they'll try and develop him. I mean, I didn't think he was the athlete of those top kind of three guys. I think that was kind of the difference between, like a Frolov versus him, or even an Andrianov versus him. They weren't he's not the athlete of them. But I mean, he has some high end traits. So I have no problem with that.
Fair enough. Somehow we end up talking about London. What a surprise.
Do you want to talk about the 67s or what?
No, as long of a break from the 67s as I can get after last year, but I think they're going to be, there's no way they can be any fucking worse. So should be a better year. Should be a better year in Ottawa, because God, you couldn't even hardly scout, because you go in and every guy you scout looks fucking awesome against them because they're so bad and small and run around.
All the good players are just pumping them.
Well, yeah, they built this. Anyways, whatever. I don't need to hammer on the 67s. I'll still cheer for them, because why not? They're my team. So
they literally play 2 blocks from you.
Yes, the fact that I could walk over there in about 3.5 minutes doesn't hurt. But just hoping for a more competitive year. But that's the junior cycle. You go, unless you're London, of course, but you go through it where you have down years, right? So that was definitely a down year for Ottawa, but I'm pretty excited to have Hemming in the OHL. That's great news. So
before we go, I think that is an upgrade for them over Valentini.
Which?
Well, Valentini left.
Hemming,
they brought in Hemming. I think Hemming's an upgrade for them. I think Kitchener should be very happy with that exchange.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched enough necessarily Valentini, but yeah, I don't. Based on what I've seen, I would take probably Hemming there, but also like they won from a pro upside perspective, but maybe in the OHL, a guy like Valentini plays pretty fucking well, probably.
Maybe, but I like the player better.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Straight from Darren Boyce. Okay, so we got our focus on top 2 Finnish forwards, at least. Might be a defenseman that has something to say about who the top Finnish player is.
Or the other guy on that line.
Or another guy in that line, yeah. Fair enough. So definitely a bounce back year from the Finns, which we love to see. It was a tough draft cycle for them last year, but that is obviously not the case this year. A couple guys that we're quite excited about, names to keep an eye on that should be a lot higher on people's lists. But don't worry, they'll come around. They'll listen to us eventually.
They did last year eventually.
Aaron, I don't know. We might not be as dumb as we looked. There's a chance. There is a chance, and we can only hope, because that would be bad. That'd be bad otherwise. Thanks very much for tuning in, boys. Thanks for your time. Drop us some lines in the comments who you guys want to see next. We're happy to take requests. It's that time of year where we got fuck all to do, waiting for the CHL season to start. So let's get after it, and catch you guys next time.
See you later.